Hi, I'm Sam Bogosh, CEO of Axle AI, and we're here to give you a brief overview of our product and kind of how it works. We've been super excited at all the interest in our product over the last few months. It's obviously been a very challenging time out there, but if there's one thing that kind of is clear worldwide, it's that everybody is having to do a lot more remote work and work from home. And it seems that our product fits into that pretty well. So we'll be talking about how it works. It's all browser based. And recently, I'll also just add before I introduce Patrice, who's our VP of products, we've had some pretty significant new developments in our product suite. One of them is that we announced support for native Avid media, and that's gone over very well with folks who have a native Avid workflow. We're also really excited to roll out our Remote Leap bundle, which for $295 a month gives you everything you need to set up a full remote video workflow for 4K or HD footage. And we're happy to answer questions about that after the demo. And then finally, we've rolled out really exciting support for more than just Adobe's Premiere Pro product, but in fact, all of the main Creative Cloud applications. So After Effects, Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. We have now plugins for all of those, in addition to our plugin for Premiere and an expanded feature set across those plugins. So it's been a very exciting few months for us, obviously not without its challenges. Our company, fortunately, was already working largely remotely and distributed. So that hasn't really changed the way we work, but I think there's been a very dramatic change in the way that our customers work, and essentially a transition from in-person mechanics and sneakernet, people handing each other hard drives, to the recognition that some kind of browser-based distributed workflow is going to be an absolute necessity as the video industry moves forward. So with that, I'll hand things over to Patrice, who can show you the basics of Axle AI.
Thank you, Sam. Let me just prepare my screen. Confirming that everybody can see my screen.
We can.
So let me show you how Axle works. You access Axle from the web browser. Now that does not mean the solution is in the cloud. In reality, it is a software that sits on top of your storage, monitor what is going on, and then will reflect what is on your storage in a web browser interface. So as you can see, I'm accessing the system locally currently. So working locally, I can ask my system to check, for example, folder Axle 2019 or baseball. These folders have been cataloged in my Axle system. Now, any drive that can be mounted, whether it is local or cloud, you will be able to basically reflect the content and have it available in Axle. And this is one of the main differences that you have within the between Axle and other media assets management solution, which basically would be in terms of ingesting and indexing files. I do not need to have some sort of an upload or choose a collection. All I do is what I have been doing all along, which is copying file over to my system. As you can see, what I have here in my folder structure is exactly the same within my Axle. So any folder, any file added will be automatically picked up. And now I have all these files, and Axle is going to go through and create automatically previews. So for videos, I can scrub through the thumbnail and I will see the preview. We have also PDF, we have pictures, so any kind of media file that Axle can recognize, it will create a preview that is viewable in any web browser. It can be your tablet, it can be your phone, so any browser you will be able to connect and see. And that is if you have access within the network. You have three main parts of the UI. On the left side, you have quick access to what I need, whether it is drilling down the folder structure to jump to the content area here in the middle. It can be a bins, which will be kind of the project area where I can select segment of my clip, which will allow me to bring here, let me move that around, which will allow me to bring it to my NLE of choice. It can be Premiere, can be Final Cut Pro. We also have module for Media Composer and Avid workflows. You have also the smart filters, which will allow me to either save my search queries or have predefined queries here by a modification date or approval. And lastly, but not the least, is the archival access. So you can decide which files you will want to park somewhere when you do not need them in your high-speed storage. You will have this little triangle right here icon. And this is, but you can archive to another NAS, so maybe slower, which you do not use for editing. It can be tape or it can be cloud. So left side is quick access, main area you will preview, and on the top we have the search. And of course, I can search across any kind of metadata. It can be file name, it can be path, it can be AI generated tags, because we do use machine learning and AI tools to automatically tag the videos, which simplifies the way that users will find their clip. And if I click on the lens, I will be able to search on specific data fields, including, again, transcript and actual speech, checkboxes, date field, and we automatically update the fields. So I can go in and say, for example, I take the name and I would just want to say contains SNL, and I will add a new criteria here, and I will say the modification date would be less than, and I could choose a date. So we can go back all the way to, let's say, July 19th, 2020. Search, and it will find the clip. As you can see, it will be found. I have my clip, and I can click on it to see the content. Now, whether I browse or I search, I will see the clip. We automatically create the HTML5 player. You can scrub through the video. You can play the video. We have the time code. I can move frame by frame by using the arrow keys here, or I can use the keyboard as well, the arrow and the keyboard to move frame by frame. And I can then select in and out points to either post comments or create the subclip that we were talking about in terms of exporting to my NLE of choice. Now on the right side, this is where you have all the information here. You have the file name, the approval, the date, duration, and everything, in addition to your custom metadata field. So you can create your own set of metadata, which you will then be able to tag your media. Text field, checkbox, as we have seen, date, drop-down menu, multiple select button, all of that is then becoming searchable. However, that's kind of the old way. We want to use the AI tags. So you can use AI power tools to tell you who appears in the video, or what is in the video, or more importantly, what is being said. So all of this information will suddenly become searchable. And you can search across faces, objects, and we even include a low-cost transcription called Actual Speech, which is available less than $2 per hour of footage that you analyze. You will be able to create a transcript and search against it. And by the way, if I decide to edit my transcript, it will bring it up on the right side here. I can extend it. It will follow based on where I am in the clip. And I can, of course, edit and save. And whenever I have now my transcript ready, I can create an export of a text file or different captioning tools, such as SRT for Premiere or iTunes for Final Cut Pro 10. And this was a very brief overview of Axel. Now, there are other items you can do from the system. I can, of course, download my clip. I can analyze with AI. I can rename. I can share. So you will have this shared link. You will see that we resolve it. But because the interface is really web browser based, and now more than ever, people that are working remotely need to have access to their files. You can easily access system using a remote proxy. Now I'm connecting to Neil's system, my colleague Neil, who is in London. It did not open anything in his firewall. This is the best part. Nothing was open in the firewall. I did not need to get IT involved. I did not. No, we create a secure tunnel that is going to connect directly to your server from a cloud server, and this cloud server is going to serve me whatever we query directly to your system. So you do not need to open your firewall, no exposure, and now I can easily access, let's say for example, with this user, I can easily access the system, and I will log in, and here I am. Same experience, but I can now remotely access the files. I can download them. I can analyze everything that I have been doing on the system locally. Now I can do it remotely. And this is the best part. And we did not even mention that we had a Premiere panel available. This Premiere panel will allow me to browse and search directly into Premiere what I need. Pardon me. Let's try again with the correct password. There we go. So I can browse Neil's system, and I can even search now. So if I search for Ethan's, performing my search, I will find a clip which I can import. Now, if I were to have the drive mounted, it will import automatically. But what we have worked on recently was the possibility to bring in high res or low res directly across download, because now I am remote. Now, for speed's sake, I'm just going to grab the low speed. And now, if I were to check the active download, you will see the file that is being downloaded. It will automatically import it to my system. And that is how you can import files directly into Axel from Premiere. So if I had access to the storage, it will import automatically. If not, it will not have imported. Here we go, the file being imported. And with that, I think we are about in the 15-minute mark, and I would love to actually get a chance for everybody to ask their questions. Thank you very much for watching. Sam, over to you. Sam, if you're speaking, you're on mute.
Yes, I was. All right, everyone. So hopefully that'll give everyone a good idea of how the product works. As we pointed out from the beginning, I think everything is in your browser, and it does support all the major browsers, such as Safari, Chrome, Microsoft Edge, and Firefox. Starting to get some questions in, which is great. There's apparently a question about multiple keyword search. So yes, the system does support fairly sophisticated searches, compound searches. And there are two ways you can do that. One is in the simple search bar, and the other is via our advanced search option, which essentially is a drop-down where you can specify the field and then its contents that you're searching for. Actually, perhaps, Patrice, if you want to just show that.
Definitely. I'm going to reshare my screen. So let's go back to my system, to my local system, just because I know what is there, it will be easier to search. So going back to Axel, there we go. So if I were to search on, let's say, Benedict, so it would pick up by file name or facial recognition as earlier. And let's say I want to say magic. So I can enter multiple words, keywords, and just filter down to what I need. It's full text search. It's something I did not mention earlier. Is we use Elasticsearch, and it will use also basic English grammar. So for example, you see that you have the name is Benedict shows Jimmy a magic trick. what is if I say magical, for example? It will understand that magic and magical are similar terms. It will still return it, even though it is not in the file name, nor tagged, nor in the transcript. If I were to search magical here, you will see that it does not appear in my transcript. So it will use basic English grammar to filter that. And just as Sam has mentioned, and as I demonstrated a little bit earlier, you can bring in different fields. We're going to automatically help you build based on the type. So if it is a drop-down menu, you remove the checkbox. So you have the drop-down menu that will appear, checkbox, update, as we have seen earlier. Like I said, name, contain, or equals, or does not contain. We say SNL. Perform my search, it will again find me the clip based on the criteria. So of course, if I were to say does not contain, or does not begin, does not contain, you will see that it will change. And now I have the file name does not contain SNL, but the file has been approved. Speaking of approval, it's a quick traffic light system that will allow me to quickly appreciate whether or not the file needs more work or has been flat out rejected, which means that if I share my file, as I've done earlier, this will create a link that I will not require login, but I will have direct access to the file. I can play the file. I can post a comment. And post a comment. And I can, of course, change the approval. So I can share with clients and just go in. And now if I refresh this page here, let me just pause here the video. And you will see that I have the new comment posted by guest, as well as the approval has changed.
And by the way, those features that Patrice is showing, those are not, I think, as he explained, those are not limited to users of the system.
Yeah.
You can essentially send anyone a share link, either through the built-in function or by cutting and pasting into your email. And when you do that, the recipient will see one or more video files in a row with that commenting and approval ability. You can also check a box to enable downloads for them. So a bunch of kind of interesting capabilities that you can use to share with clients externally, or folks that may not be involved or technical enough to be users of Axel themselves, but just want to be able to review material with you.
Excellent. Thank you, Sam. So let's perform like another search. And I will say name, and we just say test. So now that I have found these queries, what you can also do is save the search. Now I have this button here, this gear button, which is kind of global, where I will be able to upload if I have permission to upload, save search, create new bin or new folder, select all, and so on. Now I am inside the search result. I can easily save my search, and I will call it, reviewing test. Now you will see that this is now ready. Let's see if I have more than one file that is named test, which would be helpful. Here we go. Now I have test2.pdf. Let's say I change the review or excuse me. Now I have the file named test. I change the review to the approval to reviewing. And I go back to the search results right here, the saved search. You will see that we saved the query and not the result, which means I can reperform over and over again the same search. And by the way, if you're wondering about why we use Axel, imagine that I have close to 1 million files right now. There is so many files coming up. You will see the search is threading. And now we'll search against Benedict. You will see that within seconds, I went through all these files to find what I need. This is really what Axel is about. And I can do that remotely.
So Patrice, one other request we had was to show saved searches.
I just did.
Sorry, I was busy reading the thing while you were demoing.
That's perfectly fine.
All right. So any other questions or requests?
I think another useful feature that Patrice has touched on with the sharing is the sharing can also be from a remote system.
Yes.
So Patrice can log into my system based in the UK and then share from that system as well. So
Exactly.
remote workers can share clips with remote guests. And we can see here the link.
Yeah.
My machine's actually connected to a Gmail account, so we could actually send the
email.
share link directly from Axel itself.
And in a similar vein, we also have the concept of bins, which can be used to share content between colleagues that are both using Axel. So those are essentially collections of subclips that you can create and not only share with each other, but push out to the editor of your choice. So we use XML for Final Cut and for Premiere. And in the case of Avid, we export an AAF that links directly to the OP Atom MXF media that are kind of native to the Avid environment. So for each of the editing environments, there's an easy way to share a bunch of clips and subclips with your colleagues. And then once the material is pushed out, as Patrice is showing here, you've got in the timeline comments and also transcriptions because our auto transcripting function is able to generate text that then is straight in the timeline in Premiere and gives you that much more ability to navigate your content rather than just scrub around and listen to it.
Well, you can see the Axel speech comments. We bring in the AI tags as markers, as I'm pointing out. Yeah, so the quick import of the bin with in and out points, you will see the green marker would be, in fact, I have one here. So smiling person, for example, these are the comments that were posted within Axel. So going back to in-car, if I click on this video, I will see the full clip. And you will see that smiling person is a comment that was posted within my Axel. And these comments, by the way, are searchable. So these are additional metadata that are not only associated to a video file, but also to the timeline. Great question so far. Oh, sorry, Kayasa.
Oh yeah, there was also a question about not only the download within the panel, which you showed, but upload and download within the browser interface. So can you send files and receive files through the browser?
Yes, you definitely can. So you will see that we have the possibility to upload straight to the browser. Now, let's give it a time with a beach ball. So it should eventually, here we go, bring me the window. So I can just say, hey, pick a file and upload. So I'm just going to take the text file here and upload. So it is just going to send it to be uploaded. Now, this has its limitations, so we typically recommend a file accelerated transfer, especially if you're remote, to bring it over. So here we go, the file has been added. So we have some onboarding tools that will allow you to have other experience. So I can basically just this is Catapult. It comes with Axel at no additional cost. If you need more speed, then there is a cost. But at no additional cost, you're limited to 50 megabytes per second, which is, I think, enough, especially for remote workflows. So I can just go into a system, connect, and here I am. And I can just go pick a file and send it over. So if I take document 2, I'm trying to take something that will be small, so we don't spend the time watching me uploading stuff. So take this picture and upload the file directly to a dedicated server. And there we go.
We've got about 3 minutes left, and there was one additional question, which is there a duplicates finder in Axel where you could quickly find duplicate files? And I actually know the answer to that one. We do not currently have that, but it is actually a fairly common feature request, and it's something we've been looking at. Hopefully we'll be able to get a feature like that in the product either later this year or early next.
Briefly, there are a couple of things that can be done. We have this other tool that I did not touch called Connector. which is a workflow automation tool, basically. You do not need Axel to run it. No, Axel does need it to be accessible. But that, if you combine the two together, that can be a great feature where we can do some file checksum and then look for duplicate using this, the file checksum. And this is something that you can remotely trigger, excuse me, wrong browser. You can remotely trigger from Axel. So you can go in, instead of having copy to Dropbox or convert to ProRes or upload to Vimeo, you can have look for duplicates. And it's just going to go and look for duplicates. So this is something that we can definitely implement. So connector is kind of like the action maker. You know, you find your clip, what do you do with it? So there are things that you can do out of the box with Axel, and you can push further with connector.
All right, I think we're coming to the end of the segment. Thanks for all the great questions. And
That was a great session.
yeah, we'll be recording this, and so we have been recording it, I should say. So we'll be posting it online and sending out a link. But don't hesitate to contact any of us. It's just first name at axle.ai, AXLE.ai. So Sam at axle.ai, Katie at axle.ai, Patrice, Neil at axle.ai. Anyway, have a great week, and we look forward to talking in the future. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.